What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. TJ here. In today's video, we're going to be building out a PrizePicks slip for tonight's Monday night 7-game NBA slate. Throughout the duration of this video, we are going to be utilizing the Fantasy Player Props Optimizer over at Upside Tools to help show us the best plays over on PrizePicks right now. Before we dive into the slate and then heading over to PrizePicks and building out our slip, I am going to ask you guys for a few things. First and foremost, if this is your first time stumbling upon the channel, welcome. I do these daily PrizePicks videos every single day. So if you're new to the channel, if you could hit that subscribe button down below, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you could please hit the like button on this video, that would be amazing. It really helps out the channel. And then go ahead and turn on that notification bell so whenever I do post this content or content like this, you get notified first and you guys can lock in these slips over on PrizePicks before any of the plays get bumped or removed. But enough of that boring stuff. Let's go ahead, talk about the slate. Again, we got 7 games. NBA Cup's over. Finally, we have a ton of games every single night. I apologize for not doing a Sunday video. I was honestly going to do an NFL one, but got busy. So unfortunately, I didn't have any time. Hopefully, you guys made some money today. Shout out to my New England Patriots. I mean, plus 172, road dogs playing Baltimore. And I know Lamar got hurt, but it doesn't matter. It was always the Patriots. All right, guys, again, 7 games tonight. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Speaking of the Patriots, speaking about New England, speaking about Boston, we got the Celtics hosting the Pacers. Celts at home, 9.5-point favorites, 225.5 over under. We have the Cavs hosting the Hornets. Cavs at home, 9.5-point favorites, 237.5 over under. We have the Pelicans hosting the Mavericks. Pelicans at home, 1.5-point favorites, 237.5 over under. We have Denver hosting Utah. 15.5-point favorites are the Nuggets at home, 246.5 over under. OKC hosting the Grizzlies. Thunder been losing a little bit as of late. At home, 16.5-point favorites, 228.5 over under. Warriors at home hosting the Magic. I feel like the Magic have been on a West Coast trip for a very long time now. But Golden State at home, 4.5-point favorites, 228.5 over under. And last but not least, we have Portland Trailblazers hosting the Pistons. Pistons, 5.5-point road favorites, 235.5 over under. All right, guys, PrizePicks board is pulled up. I am filming this while Sacramento and Houston are finishing their game. Early bird gets the worm. This is when we're going to see some really good value hit the board, is right when PrizePicks puts out their initial board. Typically, the 2 best times to actually secure value are right when the board drops and then right before tip-off. Typically, right before tip-off is the cream of the crop. Why? That's when we get late-breaking injury news. We get guys obviously ruled in, ruled out, minute limits, lineup changes, all of that stuff. The sports books typically adjust a lot faster than these DFS apps. So we have the ability to pick off some stale lines, specifically on DFS apps like PrizePicks, Underdog, Better, etc. I did mention we were going to be using a tool throughout the duration of this video to come up with our plays, and that is, again, the Fantasy Player Props Optimizer over at Upside Tools. This is what I use every single time when I'm building out slips over on PrizePicks. The whole purpose of this tool is to compare sportsbook lines and odds directly back to various DFS apps like Better, Pick 6, Dabble, PrizePicks, Dabble Shields, and Underdog, Dabble Shields, Dabble, obviously the same thing. And this tool shows me profitable plays in real time. It updates every single second to make sure users get the most available data at all times. So if you guys want to check out Upside, there is a link in my description below. You guys can use code TJYT and get 25% off your first month. Let's go ahead and give it a quick refresh, guys. Again, we're going to be building from the top. No way, that Steph play got bumped. It did not. It just moved a little bit, so the odds adjusted. Odds adjust. The fair percent, or the percent odds to hit obviously adjust when the odds from the sports books adjust, and that's what makes this tool so cool, guys. It is always adjusting to show the best value. Speaking of the best value, guys, we're going to be building from the top, going down, and it really is as simple as that to find profitable long-term plays. Now, a tool like this optimizer is important, and I talk about this all the time, and I do apologize, especially if you're returning, but for those of you who are not, PrizePicks is a fixed payout platform, right? So it doesn't matter if we take more or less on these player projections. The only thing that actually alters our payout are the amount of legs that we're adding into our parlay. So I have Brandon Miller and Darius Garland both over more points, right? For a 2-man power on PrizePicks, we get a 3 times payout. So it doesn't matter if I change Brandon Miller to less, Darius Garland to less, you guys can see that my payout doesn't change. And again, that's because PrizePicks, in most cases, you can use goblins and demons and the stupid stuff that they have and, positively correlate in some specific sports like NFL. If you're taking over passing yards and over receiving yards, you might get a nerfed payout. But in most cases, specifically NBA, because NBA correlation is very, very minimal, your payout's always the same. You're always going to get a three times for a two-man power. So PrizePicks isn't actively showing you the odds per each individual leg inside this specific slip, but we're able to find the math on the back end, again, because our payout always stays the same in a two-man power. And because of this, we're able to know by doing this math on the back end and finding the actual odds for these individual legs that each individual leg in a two-man power is equivalent to minus 137 odds. So that means you need to find individual player props that have better than minus 137 odds to get a long-term edge playing on PrizePicks if you're building out two-man powers. So a lot of people on YouTube and things like this, they will always show you two-man powers, and that's because they're probably promoting a Discord or something like that, so they want to get as many wins as they possibly can. And obviously, it's easier to hit a two-man power than it is to hit a six flex, but mathematically, you're getting your best bang for your buck building out bigger slips, six flex specifically, when playing on PrizePicks. So I mentioned that each individual leg in a two-man is equivalent to minus 136 odds. Well, each individual leg inside a six flex is equivalent to minus 118 odds. So this tool, again, shows us the best plays in real time by comparing the sportsbook market, their $1 million models that they use to set all of their player props. So we take all of these implied odds from different sportsbooks and the odds that they're setting for each, or the player props that we're comparing back to PrizePicks, and we find the true value, the fair odds that these individual player props have to hit based off of the sportsbook market. And again, a ton of people on YouTube that provide videos on here that I always see, these daily videos are always talking about last 5, last 10, what have you done for me lately when they're picking their player props. And that's why PrizePicks has their fire plays and their popular plays, and you go on here and more often than not, if we check it out now, actually there aren't any because the board just dropped. There are always players that have scored in their last 5 or hit in 5 of their last 5 or 4 of their last 5. When in reality, when you're betting on player props, it doesn't matter what somebody's done the last 5 games. The matchup that they have that night is completely different. It can be a whole different scenario than things they've seen over their last 5 games. And again, everything is baked into a sportsbook line, so let them show you the best value in real time. Now, this method is called plus EV betting or line shopping. This optimizer is basically a line shopping tool. And I know I talk a lot about it, but it's because I care and I want to teach you guys the proper way to bet and profit long-term playing on PrizePicks. And I know the last couple videos that I made, the picks haven't been great. I think the last one we went 3 for 6, but in reality, when we're building out these long 6 flex slips on PrizePicks, we can go 0 for 23. We can go 0 for 6 in 23 straight slips. We go 6 for 6 in that 24th slip, we're profitable on PrizePicks. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that long-term profit. So enough talking. Done more talking than I've needed to. Let's go ahead, jump in, give this a refresh real quick. Let's build from the top. Wow, starting with Paulo Banchero, under 6.5 assists. Now, player prop betting, I typically love to look at FanDuel. They are the sharpest when it comes to player prop betting for the NBA. So Paulo Banchero, under 6.5 assists. Right now, FanDuel has his under 6.5 line at minus 158. That is heavy juice on the under. So we're actually going to try to go pretty quick here. We're going to get Banchero. We're going to go to his assist line. And you know what, guys? His assist line already got removed. And that's because PrizePicks was giving us way too much value if we were able to take his under 6.5. So unfortunately, we missed out on that value. So if I head back to the optimizer and refresh it, you guys will see Paulo Banchero is no longer up on the board because we no longer have an over-under line for his assist line. And if they were to bump him down to 5.5, the optimizer would reflect that. So let's go ahead, start at this top. Jordan Walsh, under 6 rebounds. Set to 6.5 on some books. On most, he's set to 5.5. On DraftKings, 5.5. Caesars, where he is set to 6.5, like FanDuel and Novig, heavily juiced on the under. So this is an even prop that I don't love, but we'll start off with Jordan Walsh under rebounds. We'll continue to go down the list and see what else we have. Andrew Nembhard under 6.5 assists, minus 130 on FanDuel. Heavily juiced on the under over on DraftKings, minus 146. Now, I mentioned that FanDuel is typically the book that I look at specifically with NBA player props, DraftKings would be number 2. So if these two are in agreement on something being heavily juiced on the under, I get excited. So Nembhard under 6.5 assists will be play number 2. We'll keep moving on down the line. Jeremy Grant under 19 points. Now, again, this one's different from Jordan Walsh under rebounds. Jeremy Grant set to 19 on PrizePicks. Everywhere else outside of Hard Rock currently has him set to 18.5 with slight juice on the under, specifically FanDuel, minus 120 on the under, probably minus 110 on the over. So this is insinuating we have his line set at 18.5, and we also have this going, it's more likely it's going under than over. And we're able to get this 0.5 higher over on PrizePicks. So I'm going to add in Jeremy Grant under 19 points. We'll keep on going. Moses Moody over 1.5 3-pointers made. Minus 138 on FanDuel. Heavily juiced on the under. Minus 129 over here on DraftKings. So we'll add in Moses Moody. And that was an over 1.5 3-pointers made. We're going to skip over Denny Avdija because, again, we already have a couple even props here with Jordan Walsh under rebounds and Jeremy Grant under points. I don't want to have too many push props inside our slip. We'll also skip over Cade Cunningham. There was a really good Cade Cunningham play over assist, but I think it got bumped. It hasn't. We're going to add that in, but we will get there. Let's keep on moving on down our line, or our list, excuse me. We'll give it a quick refresh. Nothing else has populated. Definitely want to add in Cade over assists, and I do want to add in Steph under assists. So we'll add in Cade here first. Doesn't really matter which one I add in first because I'm going to add in both. Cade over 9.5 assists. We're going to add in Steph under, not Steph, under 4.5 assists. And guys, just like that, we have our 6 flex slip over on PrizePicks. We'll go through it one more time. We have Jordan Walsh under 6 rebounds, Andrew Nembhard under 6.5 assists, Jeremy Grant under 19 points, Moses Moody over 1.5 3-pointers made, Cade Cunningham over 9.5 assists, and then Steph Curry under 4.5 assists. And you know what, guys? Having Steph under assist and Moses Moody over threes, we're actually going to change this, and we're going to add in Denny Avdija over 7.5 assists, minus 138 over on FanDuel. He's actually set one higher on DraftKings at 8.5. So we're taking out Steph. I'm sorry, Steph. Hopefully Steph has 1,000 assists so we can feel good about this. And hopefully Avdija goes over so that substitute doesn't screw us. But we're going to add in Avdija over 7.5 assists as well. And guys, that's going to do it. Just like that, utilizing this tool, we're able to see the best value in real time. We added in 6 plays to a 6 flex slip. Hopefully we can 25 times our money. Again, if you've made it this far and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm posting these daily videos every single day going forward. So turn on the notification bell so when I do post these, you guys can see it immediately. Get these slips locked in before they get bumped or removed. And then if you hit the like button on this video, again, it would really help out the channel. And most importantly, if you guys want to check out Upside and get signed up, again, there's a link in the description below. You guys can use my code TJYT and get 25% off your first purchase. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Good luck if you tail. Hopefully, when I make my next video, we're talking about a 25 times winner. And if not, I hope you guys come back regardless. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.